Live. Okay, everyone, we're live now. Yep, we're all set.
All right.
Chairman Updegrove.
Here.
Mr. Voccio.
Here.
Mr. DiPaolo.
Here.
Mr. Forma.
Here.
Ms. Johnson. Ms. Smith.
Here. Okay, approval of the July 25th meeting minutes. Mr. Moshapalo, second by Mr. Voccio. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Financial report.
Okay, so the first set of financials you have are for the restricted money, the balance and all of the activity since July 24th because we haven't had a meeting. And the balance on that checking account is $220,520.78. The next account is the ARPA funding, the restricted funding. There's little to no activity on that one. It's just interest income coming in right now. We have a balance of $9,507.33 to spend that will be spent by the end of the year as the requirement. The next document you have is the phase 1, round 3 land bank operations. So that was our office expenses, operations budget. That grant just ended. So we put in our last final draw for that. So the whole $150,000 was drawn down. And starting September 21st, we're starting our new round 4 with $150,000.
Round 4 of phase 1.
Phase 1, round 4. And then the next one is the phase 2 grant. So this grant we've asked for an extension for. And with this grant, the balance is $304,393.79. And I can let Matt talk a little bit about, we've met with Rodriguez and what the plan is to get that money spent down. They did give us a 1-year extension to spend this money down, but we'll have it spent well before that. And then we have the next round we just got the executed agreement for the phase 2, round 2 money. LBI 2, yeah. So that is going to be another $1.4 million with $1.12 million for stabilization. And the rest would be for admin expenses if needed.
All right. The plan for the 304,000?
Yeah, so the 304,000 we're gonna spend down by the end of the year on primarily roofs. We're flipping a lot of capital to stabilization so that we can get, it's 1902 Main Street and 2025 Main Street in the city of Niagara Falls. Repairs to those roofs, which are basically tear off, full reconstruction, and masonry work on 1902 should expend the rest of those capital funds. And then we will, as Jackie mentioned, roll over into the LBI where we have $1.125 million for more capital work. And then it's like $210,000 for demolition.
Is 1902 and 2025 those cardinal projects?
Yes, I'll show you which ones those are. This is 1902 Main, and I have pictures of this, but it's probably old enough. It's probably been an issue long enough that you can even see it on Google Maps. What we're really talking about doing first is repairing this rear section of the building. I don't know how close I can really get this, but you can kind of see the bricks have fallen away up here. So there's a lot of masonry work that needs to be done before the roof would be repaired, and then the roof would be obviously a separate expense. There is interest in this building from an architecture firm who's actually working with Rodriguez to design and do some of the architectural work that needs to be done to do this work. But that's 1902. So if you want, I can go to 2025. Just kind of give you a little flavor of that. 5. And 2025 is a little confusing because it's also 2027 Main Street and a couple addresses on Niagara Street. So this is 2025 Main Street, which is the storefront. That's 2025. Or I'm sorry, this is 2027. The apartments are 2025. If you go around the corner, it's 917. My point is, it's a large roof, and most of it is deteriorated past the point. There's 6 apartments up here. So somebody would like this building. It's just been one of those things where the roof has been a stumbling block.
So the storefront's not part of the actual building.
So this is a really convoluted building. So the storefront is a separate address.
It's not that convoluted. It's one property with multiple storefronts and apartments.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the package would be sold as one apartment. The basements might be separated a little bit. It's an odd building, but ultimately it's one block. It's one SBL number for all of that, all of those functions underneath it.
Yeah.
The storefront was not
So-
foreclosed on.
What? I'm sorry.
The storefront was never a Blue Cardinal property.
Yeah, it was. The confusion came from the water board, who has different addresses than the city. So that's where 2027 factors
So
in.
there's somebody operating that business right now.
No,
Oh,
no,
that's
this
good.
is totally vacant. They were when Blue Cardinal bought it, but then I think the gentleman died, and then it was just abandoned.
So if it's one.
Well, there's also evidence of Blue Cardinal kicking people out that were active in the building. So when Blue Cardinal came in, they terminated everything to vacate those buildings, and that's
Right.
because there were actually active coolers in that building when we took it over.
So that would expend the rest of that phase 2 grant to address the base issues of these 2 buildings. And then the subsequent funding, we would probably focus on 2010 Main, in addition to whatever other supports our partners need.
So if it's one SBL number, doesn't it have to be sold as one property?
Yeah, I think so. Because around the corner is 917 Niagara Street. So, So this is where we got a phone call about the Power Lounges parties that they were holding up until June of this year. So we at the land bank had the electricity cut and the water. We got the water turned off. So there's no more parties in this building. But yeah, there was an active nightclub operation happening out of the Power Lounge.
And that's one that the URA owns.
That's 917 Niagara Ave, and that's part of this parcel.
So, I mean, effectively, the addresses don't really matter. It's the parcel, right?
Mhm.
So, all of those businesses, all that whole building is all connected and all part of the same parcel.
Right, and we'd be addressing a huge need, because this building has interest. People all love it, but it's a big stumbling block is that roof. So, any other questions on the phase 2?
And there's also been interest in this building from a neighboring party. So we've been talking with them about that as well.
Jackie. Okay.
What's up? Does anybody have any more questions?
Okay, so I've taken a look at the action items. You want to do those next?
Sure. Pull these up as we go through them. And Andrea, I don't know if you want
Just that, these are all, were we're asking the board to vote to accept these, but it's going to be the same as how we've normally done it, just for a moment during the transaction, which allows us to put the development enforcement order in place. So we won't be like holding these for any length of time, we're not doing Sherman, it's not gonna cost us anything. So the Main Street Committee reviewed applications that were submitted for each one of these properties. They identified developers,
The Main Street, you know, the
yeah,
Niagara Falls.
yes, they,
All right,
yes.
so they've already vetted these,
Yes.
they've got, so these are,
Yes, and ensure, you know, they feel comfortable with all of these developers,
Okay.
looked at the amount of funding that they have available, feel comfortable that, you know, that the redevelopment's gonna take place, and really asking the land bank to utilize, its development enforcement mortgage authority.
Katie, what happens if the project doesn't go forward and we have the development enforcement program in place?
Yeah, and Andrew and I have been discussing that at length for the last week.
So what happens
Or
then?
two.
Has the
We would
Main
have to-
Street group, the urban renewal agreed to take them back?
So that is usually part of our agreement. Same with like the cities. I know in previous years, there were some falls properties that we took from them that didn't go anywhere, and so we gave them back to the city and filed a deed to go back. Obviously, the concern would be, you know, we've had these development mortgages in place, and while we've threatened before, if people aren't moving quick enough on our timeline to take them back, they've ended up either giving it back to us and they're fine with it, or they actually finish the work. So the question will be, you know, if it comes to a point where they're not doing anything and they're sitting on them, but they won't give it back, then obviously we would have to start a legal action, which would take time and money. I mean, the hope is that won't happen, but we've never actually gotten to that point here before. So there would be those provisions in there, but that's not to say that it wouldn't come
Well,
down
for
to.
properties like this that have been brought to us by this group, by this agency, why wouldn't we just have an agreement with them to give them back to them, and then they could commence eviction proceedings if that's what they chose to do?
But it'll be entitled to the new owner.
Oh, right,
So,
that's where
Yeah. So then it would end up coming back to us
they have to foreclose.
and then back to URA.
All right.
So we have a call set up with Katie and counsel for the city to discuss that and figure out exactly how we want to put that wording in place, right? To make sure, for what you said, like, so if we did take them back, we don't want to be holding them, we want to be able to give them back to the URA.
So we would.
Yeah, we would. Rick, we would totally accept them back if that was the case. I mean, I don't think that was, you know, because even the whole reason why URA is holding them in the first place is because the land bank, rightfully so, didn't want to take the liability on. So should that happen where we need to look at the provisions of the development enforcement mortgage and the land bank takes the building back, we can work that in, that it'll transfer back to the URA's possession.
So then, if that's the case, do you want to go through?
You can just show us pictures of each one of those.
Yeah, this is 1509, okay, and this is the church. I just want to point out one thing on this real quick. This 1509 also includes this, which is the rectory building in the rear. The developer that has shown interest, submitted an application, has agreed to take both buildings, and they will develop them. So there's that one. Then 1708 is the Jens building. It's going to be in Niagara Falls, New York. So that would be 1708. And we've got visible evidence of our work on Google Maps, everyone, so we're aware. Then 2109 is down at the
Matt,
end.
you put out
What's that?
really the development for, I was gonna say, really the development for 1708 is 4 parcels.
Yeah. Here, let me show that then real quick.
Which is the main building. 811 Division, which is a building behind that was an old paint store. And then there's I forgot what it was. It's an 8th Street and a half address. that's just a garage.
It's 1643 and a half.
That development would be,
So what
Four parcels.
what Kevin's talking about is they're gonna do these, this, and is it 811? So this is 811.
Oh, I see what you're saying, okay.
So all of this essentially, and this is 1643 and a half.
That's not part of this either. We have to have a
Okay.
second resolution as to who them were
Should
given.
we have another meeting then, because I think doesn't this stuff need to be on the agenda? Or no?
I mean, you can make an amendment to include it, but
As long as it's in the minutes, is it okay? No?
we don't have any, there's nothing
I know.
about, and it.
Yeah.
Technically, it goes against what our procedures are, that we don't have who them we're
Sure.
giving it to, it's just that we can
Yeah.
accept it, but then we still would have to do a secondary resolution at another meeting as to who we're then providing it to, because that's not part of the materials.
Okay,
So either way, I mean,
yeah, I think that's fine.
but then we'd have to also include those
I mean,
other
what is-
addresses.
Yes, what is the likelihood of these closings organizing before our next meeting?
No.
0,
Yeah.
so it's fine.
Oh.
Zero.
So then that's not a problem.
We'd say won't be done.
No.
But for purposes of the next agenda, we will put who they're going to. and
Yes.
List all the parcels.
Right, because
associated with that.
because if 1708 is technically 4 parcels, we would need to accept all of those parcels because they'd be separate closings.
Okay.
They'd be separate deeds and all the documentation. And then we also need, this is just the acceptance, so then we also need to approve who we're providing it to, and if the board wants to, normally when we do this, we see their proposals that have been sent in and things like that the board has wanted to see before. So then that could be all part of the materials.
Yeah, we didn't, because it hasn't been like publicly
Right.
disclosed, so that makes sense that we would accept it at this meeting, and then we can do that at the next
Yeah.
meeting. And, we'll have a listing of all the parcels, and by then, we'll be able to let the board know exactly what we're gonna have in the
Yeah.
contract. Okay.
I mean, you can still accept
Yeah,
them today
yeah.
if you want, but.
Yeah.
That's just a.
Okay.
What's the Jim's building, what's the time of that?
Market rate apartments.
Oh.
To do
Market rate, you said.
market
And
rate.
the nightclub, which one is that?
This is
Like,
just
Partners?
this, not this.
Oh, it's not partners.
This is a private owned, this is city owned over here, but 2109 is all of this. There's 6 apartments up here, and it was a nightclub, a Fusion nightclub.
Some of my best members.
I went to that nightclub as a student, and you. Main Street was still going in 2005. So
I'm old, when I used to hang out in Niagara Falls, it was Ferraro's, and what was the big one? The huge one.
not the
Oh, at the
locker,
Late Show?
the late show.
That's down on Rockville?
No, there was another one called, it was down right near the convention center.
See, I know the lot.
We had this
ones.
conversation,
Club
when we
Exit?
walked through this, everybody was trying to.
No,
figure out
Club
what
Exit's
was
on 3rd Street. I used to go to Club Exit a lot. Pleasure Dome.
Pleasure Dome. I've heard
That
of
don't
that.
sound like a very nice stuff.
Yeah, no, the Pleasure Dome. And we used to go there. That was a weird place.
All right.
Big though.
Nightclub is part of this, being developed into retail space, apartments, mixed use. The last piece of this, for acceptance is this Queen Anne Residence 723 division. And what you'll see here, this is 717 division, and this would be a short-term rental. Because, and it seems to be appropriate, there's the gorge. You're right there. It's good for the tourism.
Imagine that house in its day.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
Those owners are looking down, those builders are looking down saying, what happened?
Minicucci. John Minicucci was one of the owners at one point.
It's hard to understand how houses that close to the gorge have fallen into disrepair like that. Seems to be a pretty good location.
Well,
It used to be a highway right there too.
this
Oh,
Yeah, there used to be a
Oh,
highway
that's
train,
right.
right?
They cut off the access to the gorge.
this was built by the family that founded the pharmacy chain, which became Eckerd's.
Oh,
Wow.
It wasn't the Eckerd family, but they got absorbed into that. So yeah, and a lot of money in Niagara Falls in the day too. So That is, are there any questions about any of these properties specifically?
No.
No? Okay.
Well, no, there's not a lot of questions because of what we're doing.
Right.
So what do we have to do today, Kate?
So you can do a motion to accept the properties. I would amend it to include all of the parcels, so all of the addresses. You can do that today if you want, and then we would have to do a secondary resolution to award those to whomever we're awarding it to.
That's fine. So I'll take a motion from legislator Vocio. I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Aye.
Okay, project manager update.
Okay, I'm gonna run through this pretty quickly. There's a bunch of stuff going on. This front page is all of our Main Street Niagara Falls stuff, so I'm not gonna go through all of this. We did touch on 1902 and we touched on 2025. Those are the big action items for projects that we're.
So what are you
working on.
looking at right now? You just held up.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, this is my cheat sheet of every address that's on Main Street and in Niagara Falls. So this is my Niagara Falls list. Do you want this? I can give you a copy of it.
Well, I don't need it right now, but I mean, that's something, I would probably include that.
Okay. So the Main Street, basically what we have, like I say, we got 1902, we got 2025, and 2010, 2018 is being finished the report for SHPO. So we should be able to flip that to capital work very soon. Lockport, we have a couple different things going on. I have to send an email to this Yasmin Cumberbatch. She's not, I told everyone about 211 Niagara Street. I've been going back and forth with her. The cash offer was not real. So that just cleared up. That never happened. And she's.
So you're gonna have to, so what's 211?
That was the burned out building next to the History Center that we were pursuing this woman in New Jersey. I'm gonna send her an email saying that the board doesn't approve buying this house for what's $50,000. So we've never approved that.
Right.
And connect her to Jason Dool, because that's basically who she has to deal with.
Right, so yeah, so what Jason needs to do is put the appropriate violations on it and then follow through in housing court. And they've done that before, it's a process, but we're not spending $50,000 on a building that has a negative value.
I asked her to make a donation and that we would fund the demolition. That's all we were gonna do.
And did she reply to that?
She wanted $50,000 for us to buy it from her.
So, yeah, the city's, you're gonna really wanna press the city on
Okay,
it. If they don't do it, it'll sit there forever if they don't do something.
right, I'll talk to Jason.
They've done it in the past. I know there's, the judges are on board. I know it's a process, but they did it on Genesee Street. And it worked, they were gonna, I think, they either were gonna extradite the owner or they did extradite the owner from New York. It just went down. And that's what it took.
Really quick to run down my other items. To Vicki, at some point we should talk about 17 Works Place.
Yes, we need to talk about that.
I'm gonna circle that.
Is that vacant lot?
No, well, it could be. It's a house off of, it's not South Street, that's Washburn, right?
No, South Street, yes, Washburn, it's across from Building 1 of Harrison's.
Right. Yeah, I know where Works Place is.
Yeah,
They want this house demolished for parking, basically.
Right, because they're building those apartments.
Mhm.
Who's building those?
Ken Carney's building the apartments on Building 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no parking.
Little bit street parking, he needs that parking.
Did they already start building?
What's that?
Did they already start building?
Oh, yeah, I toured it the other day, they're drywalling the apartments, and the smallest apartment's 900 square feet. I didn't realize that, and then there's two-bedroom apartments. But let me know if you wanna come over for a tour. Ken was in town the other day, and I don't know if I met with him, walked around.
Yeah, we'll follow up on Works Place, because
Thank you.
GLDC owns that, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Just
Yeah,
going,
I wasn't aware. I only know about it because I drive by there almost every day and I see it.
Yeah, they're working
They didn't come to the
away.
IDA, that's what I was asking.
What's that?
They didn't come to the IDA, that's what I was asking.
No.
No, that's good for them.
two things in NT, just kind of to update on. We've got 713, 715 Oliver Street that we've now toured and looked at and are developing a plan to dispose of, probably market and sell. Frederica Street, 101 Frederica Street, I've got the wetlands determination is the last piece that we're waiting on, and I think we're at month 2. of waiting to hear back, 2.5 almost. So me and Nate are gonna have to send them a letter after 10 days, you know what I mean? So we're probably gonna run off the clock on this, but once that's done, we can submit it.
It's 90 days. Yeah, it's 90 days.
And that was the same thing we ran into with the Middleport water tower demolition. The project manager for that, which isn't me, had to submit to the wetlands for the determination. They took 3 months. They had to send them a certified letter. They took 10 more days. So they didn't actually rule on it. They never actually gave them a determination. They just said, okay, well, you ran out the clock, so we're fine moving ahead. Which may be the case here at Frederica Street too.
That's happening a lot.
It's
They don't have staff.
It's a 5-year
Yeah,
grace
5 years.
period, and then you have to go back to the.
That's good to know. Last, kind of just 2 little things. So on the positive side, you may have heard our involvement in the Lowry project. We're just getting quotes, we're gathering information. You may have heard that it's being boarded up now. So our quotes weren't who Mr. Gersh went with, but our action prompted him with the city's involvement, the county's involvement, all of these eyes on this property finally got him to say, okay, I'm gonna get a crew out there, we're gonna board it up, we're gonna securitize it. So that happened, yesterday is currently happening. So, and but for our involvement, it may not have.
By Rob Bussello.
I'm sorry,
Lowry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Lowry used to be middle school, it used to be junior high school in the old days.
Is that Wheatfield Street?
No, yeah,
Oh, it's not bad.
right on me.
It's a huge building.
Sorry, I went to middle school.
So, yeah, and, I'm thrilled, the owner's been difficult, it's been vacant since 14. And it was heavily damaged in 15 during the winter, so it's been a real issue, and it's going down and down and down with vandalism and things like that. But I was pretty impressed that, with the efforts of Matt and Andrea, that we got the owner to do anything. So I'm thrilled.
I didn't see
And
that
then-
coming.
And,
So it goes back to, so he's paying his taxes on it, so it's not in foreclosure, so what's our
it's not
involvement?
in foreclosure.
Right, so
We
what's
took a
our,
developer through last week that's interested in it, so we connected the developer with the owner.
Gotcha.
If something happens, great, if not, I don't know, I mean, I think we just keep in
Question.
touch and ask them to, either do something or list it, but then it turns back to the city, they gotta, much like what you were saying about lot where you just gotta keep on it.
no violations?
Oh, tons.
Tons.
So it's, he's okay with paying the fines and ultimately getting hauled into housing court? That's really what has to happen, right?
Right, see, from North Tonawanda standpoint, it's been difficult to get enforcement, because the building has, until just recently, is not really that bad.
Okay.
But we have to chase them to mow the lawn, to try to get them to fix any damage. The place is repeatedly entered and vandalized.
I think the town, if you don't want, they just go out and mow it and then put the bill on your taxes.
Yeah, but we don't have the budget for that, it's such a 10-acre site.
Oh, I understand what you're saying.
So, we can't afford it. So we have to kind of, be stern but nice. So, because it's my opinion, and we've talked to some people, his best financial move would be just to walk away. LLC, change the phone number and leave it. So, because he got it very inexpensively, he used it for long enough to pay for the place. And,
Because he's using it for storage.
no, the building was occupied by North Tonawanda for the first 7 years.
Oh.
We used the first floor, the Parks Department was on the first floor. There was a school on the second floor and some film company on the third floor for the first 7 years. And then everybody had to go because then he was gonna start using the building. But then the damage in the winter of 2015 just took it out of play. And that damage has just been getting worse and worse ever since.
And just technically speaking, we as the land bank have an access agreement with Mr. Gersh, so to market and sell and do all this stuff.
It'd be terrific. And the person you talk to has a proven track record of this kind of thing. This is a big one for him, but that would be pressure.
Last time we talked to Mr. Gersh, he wanted to either be involved in the development, or I think the sales price was pretty hefty, so I don't have any hopes But I think it's good that it doesn't, because then you can definitively say, you know, it's not doing anything.
Right. I mean, the security measures, I hope they work. The vandals are very
There's
resourceful.
so many windows, I don't know how, I mean,
But they've done a good job. I went through this morning on the way here. And they've done a good job of boarding everything up, but, nobody likes boarded up windows. But it's way better than having all kinds of illegal access and vandalism and other fire. But we're thrilled, good work.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Last thing, good thing you're gonna hear about is our 6 houses in Niagara Falls are going up for sale. So that's our stabilization work. That should be within a week. And that's all.
That's good news.
I don't have anything else, I don't think. We talked about, West Main and Montfort during the Broncos development meeting. We talked we had a conversation with the city, does the city have a plan for what they want to do with that?
Yeah, so I've been talking with the treasurer and is Lisa the assessor? Lisa,
No. Who's the assessor over there?
I've been talking to Lisa.
So Israel's the city.
Lisa's in the treasury department.
Oh, okay, so Lisa,
Yes,
I go
and
with
Sue's
and
the- yeah,
Sue's the- okay, so I've been talking with Lisa and Sue.
Sue
And
Mahoney and Lisa.
yeah, I talk to them every couple of days, it seems.
Mhm.
But the city plans to keep title to them. And once they have title, then I've been working with them to do, they're essentially probably gonna come to the Broncos Corporation right now.
Right, you had mentioned something during that meeting about, a change in state statute that shields liability to municipality.
Yeah,
Is that something that, there's no gray area on that,
no.
that's passed, now we know that.
It's passed,
It's
yeah.
passed, it's in the budget, and so,
So the agreement that the land bank has with the DEC really, that we have, isn't really relevant anymore, because if the municipality takes a property, they no longer have that liability, like the Flintco property that we had in Montfort.
right, it
That
just an
won't happen.
extra, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
guess it just an
And
extra
it's-
layer.
Yeah, in essence, it's doing, those state statutes doing what the agreement said, but the agreement, we had to specify the property and then
Right.
change it every time, and so this is almost a blanket
It
to
is,
allow
yeah.
us to do, which with the changes in the surplus law, where we have to get these appraisals and things like that, I mean, a lot of the properties, at least from the county's perspective, that Norlick was getting was all of these junkyards, like all these properties that we sat on for years or gave to Norlick because of the environmental concerns on them. Now, so long as we're not the ones being negligent and causing any increase in the environmental concerns, we can now, because we're forced to take them as the way the statute reads, can then do it. So that'll avoid some of the issues with regards to those properties coming to Norlick and then having to get the appraisal and figure out what the surplus is, and that will allow for a better avenue, at least for those environmental properties.
And there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them.
I think
We
there's
have a
like,
lot,
we
so.
still have like 80 or 90 that are flagged by
Yeah.
the treasurer's office that are just sitting in the
Mhm.
flag
We have
pool.
foreclosed on.
Correct, yeah.
So now they can foreclose on them,
Yeah.
and then what, use grant monies to try to clean that, or
Or try to sell them.
You just
I mean, I don't know. I've always wondered, can we have a brownfields auction and then sell the, because there's developers out there that want brownfields because of the tax credits.
Yeah.
And so if we get like phase 1s and 2s done.
What's keeping them now, is it because they're still privately held,
Yeah.
and they want money, and so, but if we foreclose on them, then.
Right.
Right.
Right. We could sell
But
them
we
cheap.
still have to get the appraisals all right under, because of,
I mean, if we auction them off, it would be the same as,
oh, you're right, if we auction them.
if we
it doesn't
auction them
matter,
off,
because
yeah,
that's the
we'd be
price.
auctioning them off.
And then if there's anything,
Right.
if there's any monies left over after the back tax, of which there won't be.
No.
But if there was, then we just.
The only difference would be, when we do our normal auction, we don't have any knowledge normally of any environmental issues. They take it as it is. We tell them we don't know what's on the properties. There could be, there couldn't be. For these, obviously, we'll have knowledge of some environmental concerns. And as to what level within that statute now we're going to be required to disclose that, or if we just blanket say, there's probably issues here, you can foil whatever you wanna
I
foil.
would assume we would just disclose whatever.
Yeah.
I would just give them
Just to be,
everything.
yeah,
we
just
know.
to be,
Yeah.
so that'll be something that as we start doing it, we'll have to work out a process for that, but that'll be the little bit of a difference, but,
We should probably,
yeah.
I think that's
Okay.
definitely something we should
Yeah.
we should start.
pursue.
And a lot
Sure.
of them are in our environmental in-rem. We had separate environmental
Yes.
in-rems to do TIOs to then find
Yep.
out the environmental concerns.
Mhm.
So that's where a lot of them lie, is in like separate environmental in-rems, some of them.
Yeah, and some of them, I don't know.
We haven't even started.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
haven't even
haven't started. But I think that would be a great way, because, I mean, the county's bleeding money every year on those. 'Cause we gotta pay the school districts and municipalities.
We make them whole.
Uh-huh. So it's interesting because Mayor Sano and I had a meeting last week with the new Sustainable Economic Development Commissioner, I think he is, with DEC. It's like a new thing, and I asked him about this. I said, I haven't heard anything from anybody about this, and he said there's so much stuff in the budget, environmental-wise, that they're still unpacking, so there's very few people that even know about that clause. And I happen to be talking to a consultant, he's like, I just read this. Okay.
Well, I thought it was interesting at the National Land Bank Network, they're all talking about working on brownfields.
Yeah.
Every land bank to Detroit.
Well, because they all have brownfields and the missions and land banks have changed dramatically now that we have an issue with returning
Yes.
the excess funds.
I've been answering a lot of questions, like from across the country, from land banks and, from other governments about how to address it, so.
Yeah. They're doing a webinar, did you see that? Center for Community Progress is doing a land bank brownfield
They've
webinar.
done a few of them.
So what are other land banks doing? So the Tyler versus Hennepin case changed obviously. So what are other land banks doing? Have they changed their mission? Are they changing? Because I didn't know for a while that we weren't sure if it was just gonna be the death knell of land banks or if there would be some sort of process that everyone kind of adopts where land banks are still taking the property, but there's the appraisal.
Yeah.
And we, but there's still gonna be, you can't stop litigation. You can't say to somebody you can't sue. So I know that that's been a concern. What about other land banks? Would they encounter this? Are they still doing like the one in Circus? Are they still doing what they've been doing? How are they handling just that?
I think a lot of the land banks, they don't just depend on properties for foreclosure, right? They acquire them and it seems like the state is pushing, the patio home development.
The cross
So,
mod, there's
actually,
hundreds of
cross mod,
millions of
yeah.
dollars for new construction, but they're all affordable, they're all regulated.
Syracuse is doing 62, I think she said, they just completed 4 of those cross mod homes, and they're gonna be doing 62 more.
Then you have the people in Buffalo who build those houses for $400,000 and sell them for $150,000.
They have a preferred builder for this stuff,
Yeah.
right? And so Syracuse is kind of like the pilot for working out all the glitches and getting the price down on these and everything, just because she's doing so many of them. They're able to put these houses up for like $250,000.
But Matt and
Cross.
I were just looking at like the properties that we're gonna be listing for sale. So you figure $250,000 for a new home, or we look at how much we spent, what was the total amount of money we spent on those 5 homes?
Oh, the total stabilization dollars was like $600,000 for 6
$600,000.
homes.
But then we sell it for what we think we're gonna get back, then we're out what?
We might lose $250,000 overall.
$250,000 to create 5 homes. And that also helps the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that what we did was like roofs, siding, windows, doors, and then a smaller developer or homeowner will come in and take it like the rest of the way. So all that to say is that we have allowed, like we've created jobs in the sense that you have smaller developers putting people to work. It's all local spending. It's not out-of-state spending. We've created 5 times that of these prefab homes. I think that like what we're doing makes sense and it works and it helps the neighborhood, it helps the community. The prefab stuff, it doesn't make any sense.
There's value in what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's
Right.
10 times, we could show like the spin-off of everything. I mean, it's all local buying, it's all local purchasing, it's all local workers,
Yeah.
local contractors. I mean, it helps in so many different ways and it creates quality housing in neighborhoods that otherwise would just have these houses in disrepair. As opposed to spending that same amount on one house that's a prefab home that is probably not gonna stand the test of time. It doesn't help any community or neighborhood and looks out of place, and we're buying it from out of state.
They also don't know the impact of all the new electric mandates as of the first of the year, when they're gonna be building these homes. They don't know what the cost is gonna be, what it's gonna go. It's not gonna be $250,000 anymore.
And the feedback from the association, Land Bank Association, was they can't do these projects in a rural community, period. Like, the only place it's appropriate is a suburban community. Those cross-mod homes, they're one story. You cannot have a second story. You might be able to have a loft if you have it like a pitched roof or something, but it's only for, and it has a very specific look. It looks like, you know, a ranch house you find in the suburbs. And the Sullivan County, Essex County, all these other counties are, you know, they're saying we need housing, and the mandate with all of this funding is the creation and preservation of housing units. But it's with, whether it was the AHOP program or the VRIP program or, you know, this program, it's, the need is there, but the subsidization, to Andrea's point, is not, like, they're not subsidizing the right things.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they would be subsidizing any new builds, because that seems contrary to what you're trying to accomplish. It just seems odd, because the whole point is to stop sprawl and reinvest in what you already have.
And
It doesn't make any sense to me.
And not for anything, but environmentally, the most environmentally friendly home is the one that's already there.
That makes no sense.
You know, what I've seen from the land banks that, you know, I've talked to in different webinars and stuff is that they're doing the appraisals
Mhm.
to figure out what that difference is. And I think that's partly why so many land banks are looking at brownfields, because they're upside down.
Right.
And it's an
Because
easier
it's
sell.
an easy,
Yeah.
it's an easy flip because it's got a negative value.
Exactly.
You're not,
Yeah.
you can make the case you shouldn't be returning anything to any landowner that is
Right.
contamination on the property.
And you can add, if you do assessments or anything like that, you can add that cost on to the tax bill. So it makes it even more
Right, the cost of the actual
Yeah.
appraisal.
Yeah.
For sure.
in the assessments or whatever
Or
environmental
if you get your,
properties.
we've done in the past, you get your TIO and you actually go out and work, you can add that expense on.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So it makes it even more of a case that's negative.
Okay, anything else, Matt?
Oh, no, not for me.
Anything else, Katie?
We had talked at the last meeting about the property and the request for the driveway within Niagara Avenue property. That day, I emailed the owner with the questions that the board had. I received an email back pretty quickly, just stating that they had already done the work and some other things. And so we don't have to worry about that anymore. That's no longer a request from the next door neighbor. And then 2015 Maine, we have the documents already for Mr. Browner to come in and sign. So hopefully it comes in the next few days, and then that will then own that property.
He's coming in at 10 today.
Oh, okay.
Might even meet him.
Perfect.
So,
That's it, sorry.
Okay. All right, I'll move to adjourn. Second by Ms. Rocho, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, great, thanks.
So the next meeting's in order.
You know, I